Welcome back to the Operation Hill 100 Heart channel where we do what? Focus on healing, humor, and hot motherfucking topics. If you are tuned into this segment of my channel, then you are tuned into what? The hot motherfucking topics where we talk, I talk. On my new subscribers, hey newbies. Also, if everybody here should hit the notification bell so you can get all my videos when they drop. Let me get the thumbs up, ladies and gentlemen. Please hit the thumbs up because that is your free way of supporting my channel. And stick around in the comment section because we're going to talk our motherfucking talk. And I know y'all like when I get like this, right? This is not about the healing, what I normally do. No. This is about the hot topics where I pop my motherfucking shit. All right, so good afternoon, good people. Let me just give y'all the rundown. I was basically minding my business, right? Well, not 100% minding my business, but kind of halfway minding my business, right? With this whole TGIF, Armand Wiggins, Al Reynolds, Claudia Joy. I gave a little tidbit snippet of it on my last live, right? And I just felt like today that we needed to go back into it, even though I was basically trying to leave it alone because it is all over the internet. Every content creator under the sun is discussing it. So I was like, do I really want to discuss this? I like to discuss stuff that people are not talking about. But today we got some new breaking news. Actually, I don't think it was today. I think it was the other day. And I just missed it, but I'm just hearing about it today where now Al has a best friend who has come to the forefront to have some conversation about it. So shout out to another SHAWN ALLEN podcast. Shout out SHAWN ALLEN because my name is Khadijah Allen. Sean, are we cousins? Right, so shout out his podcast. In any event, he had Al Reynolds' best friend on there. And we're going to listen to the podcast together so you guys can hear what he said. And then we can have some conversation surrounding, what took place. Like I said, Sean, do not unflag my page. We are cousins. You guys go check out another SHAWN ALLEN podcast so you can hear the interview as well. Let's take a listen, you guys, so we can see what he says, so we can kind of dissect what I feel was going on over there at TGI motherfucking F. Okay.
SAP, another SHAWN ALLEN podcast.
Podcast of SHAWN Allen. We on here talking about music. Y'all bringing up my tweets with Claudia. Claudia's in here. Hey, I'm not gonna be disrespectful though. I don't know if she's in here or not. It's what, 600 of you guys in here. Shout out to everybody in here. Comments moving fast. I don't have my moderator to slow this shit down. But you guys asked me about that. I didn't know you guys watch the show. TGIF. I don't work for Fox Soul, and I'm not speaking on behalf of Al, so let me just get that out before anything. We do a great job about keeping this stuff here on Twitch. So, but let me just say this. I see you guys in the comments. Al publicly supported Armand to me, right? He's never spoke back.
Pause. I may have gotten it wrong. I don't think that SHAWN ALLEN actually had Al's best friend on his podcast. I think SHAWN ALLEN is Al's best friend. I didn't know that. Okay, let's continue listening. I think this is SHAWN ALLEN speaking, but I'll get confirmation in a minute.
Bad about Armand to me. He even had videos on his YouTube, advocating for Armand. So I didn't know that there was a beef, or I talked to Al actively, and Al's never said anything bad about Armand to me. And I know he was going hard for Armand to get the job at Fox Soul, so I was kind of caught off guard.
Okay, so let me pause with him saying that, right? I don't deny that part initially. So what he said was he was kind of caught off guard when people were saying that there was an issue between Al and Armand because from what he knows, Al was really advocating for Armand to get the job, so on and so forth. Initially, the first 2 weeks that Armand was permanent on the show, him and Al were tag teaming Claudia. Matter of fact, I don't even want to say it got to 2 weeks. It got to 1. Him and Al were tag teaming Claudia, which is why Al was advocating for Armand to be on the show. Because once again, Armand isn't Funky Dineva, but their energy is very similar. And y'all know Funky Dineva used to chew Claudia ass up and spit her out. And every time he was doing it, if you guys go back and watch old episodes, or you see all you see Al there saying is, get him, Funky, get her, Funky. Oh, Funky, you gonna let her say that? So pretty much he enjoyed when Funky used to tear Claudia ass up, and now with Funky being gone, there's no one there to do his dirty work. So when Armand showed up, he initially was saying things that basically went against what Claudia was saying, and Claudia can't really handle when she's when someone is being combative with her, especially a man, right? So when he was doing so, again, Al was egging that spirit on. I remember even in one episode, he was like, you can come back here anytime, buddy. Because I remember that Armand was basically cursing out Candy and speaking negatively about Candy, and Claudia was in debate with that. So initially, Al was totally on board for Armand because Armand was bringing that funky energy that would eat Claudia ass up, and Al liked that. But what Claudia said in her live the other day was that it was revealed to her when her and Armand spoke that Al was talking to Armand about Claudia trying to get her fired, and what Claudia knew is that Al was also talking to her about Armand to get him fired. So what Claudia said is once they squashed their beef, then her and Armand became cool, and Al didn't like Armand from then because he doesn't want anybody cool with Claudia because Claudia and Al are not getting along. Let's continue with Sean Allen. Hey, cousin.
Right. Okay, I'm responding to exactly. Again, he's never spoke bad about Armand to me. And Platinum Barbie, what you're saying, Al's energy has been off for a few months. I can't tell you what episode. I can't tell you what markers, but yes, his energy has been off for a couple of months.
Okay, so let me say something about that. He said, yes, Al's energy has been off for a couple of months. It would be because Funky is not there. So according to Claudia, her and Al have not been friends for a long time. Like I told you guys in another one of my comments that I put under the TGIF, I remember that they shared a story where all three of them hung out. Funky, Al, and Claudia. And Funky said that Claudia and Al got to beefing so bad that he literally was in tears trying to get them to stop. And I remember Al saying, well, I understand that you're an alpha female, but you're not going to boss and bully me, and I don't care if you're a power bottom. And I just think, once again, Claudia really struggles when she has issues with men because she's never felt protected by any man, seeing as though her situation with her father. So whenever she has a situation with a man, depending on that man's spirit, she can either become really, really aggressive or she can retreat into her shell. So I think with Al, because Al is a more polite gay, from what I see, Al is very respectful. He doesn't really like to go back and forth with women unless he's truly, truly triggered or poked. So Claudia feels it's okay to be aggressive with him. So anyway, when Funky was there, Funky would dive on Claudia with his claws out, and Al loved every moment of it. When Funky left, Al was mortified because he had nobody to dive on Claudia. Now, when Armand came, he felt like, okay, I finally have somebody again. We're going to get this show on the roll. But like I said, from what I understand, Claudia and Armand did some behind scenes talking according to Claudia, so then it was confirmed that, oh, we're a tag team now against you. So he's here saying that Al's energy was off. Yes, it has been off ever since him and Claudia stopped getting along, and according to Claudia, that happened when some messages were leaked and Al was talking foul about her. What she did say is Al did apologize, but she never really forgave him. Let's continue.
I know if you guys go look at previous episodes over the past few months, you guys look in the comments, you guys will see in the comments of them saying Hal's energy is off, how energy is low. And Armand and Claudia both on air spoke to Al's energy and his shift in his performance or his energy. They mentioned it on the show, periodically. So, Al's energy being off, then Armand doing this roast on yesterday, is, I guess it speaks to that, right? But I can't tell you what episodes to go look back at, but overwhelmingly in the comment section of these past few months, people are talking about Al's energy, And Armand getting on last night, dropping those back of the house internal issues under the guise of a roast, confirms why our energy has been off these past.
Okay, so another thing that he just shared was that, basically Al's energy was off, and it was related to a lot of what Armand said in his roast. Everything that Armand said in his roast was really about the actions of Al. So Al, if your energy is off because of all of the BS that Armand claimed that you're doing, then that's on you, Al. That's not on anybody else. So your energy does not need to be off with us two because you're backbiting and backstabbing behind our backs, if that's true, allegedly.
It's a few months, right? So something is going on behind the scenes. That's why Al's energy is off. And we would have never known that if our mom never would have weaved that into the roast.
Okay, so he just said we would have never known that if our mom would have never weaved that into the roast. Let me be very clear, because I've been watching TGIF since day motherfucking one. What we would have never known was the truth. If in fact what Armand said is true, then what we would have never known is the truth. But what I've known since I've been watching this motherfucking show, and I'm down in the TGIF comments saying it, you guys can go check back in any one of their videos. Al's energy been off, been off, been off, right? And it was so annoying because it's very, very obvious. First of all, it's obvious when any of their energies is off. Let's be clear. Armand probably is the only one whose energy you wouldn't notice if it's off, because he's pretty much been the same the time that he's been there, because I think he's trying to keep a straight face because he just got there. But when Funky energy used to be off, you knew it. When Claudia energy was off, you knew it. And when Al's energy is off, you knew it. It ain't just Al. But these last couple of months, it's been Al more so than anybody else. And I think that Claudia and Armand was trying to like skate around it, which made it even more obvious that Al's energy was off. But to say that we would have never known if Armand wouldn't have said all that in the roast, no, we would have never known what they're trying to allegedly put out there is the truth, that it's off because, once again, Al was a backbiting, backstabbing mother freaker, according to Armand. Let's keep going.
And they took the show down, right? The replay didn't air, right? So, again, that further confirms that there are some internal issues, and we would have never known if Armand didn't bring the internal issues to the front, right? It was back of the house issues. Armand brought the back of the house issues to the front of the house. And Al sat through that shit. He ate that shit. He was professional. He didn't lash out online. He didn't lash out on the show. He didn't throw the shade on the show. He kept it professional, right? That's what you're supposed to do.
Okay, let's be clear. Yes and no. Yes and no, right? For the most part, that is what Al can do. I'm not going to lie on Al. That is what he can do. Al has the game down pat. He knows when to show up. He knows when to smile. He knows what to wear. He knows how to wear his hair. He knows what to do. He knows whose ass to kiss. He knows who to speak to. He knows how to make it look good. Al is excellent at that. And I actually admire that about him, because I do think that they need a buttoned up character on that cast as well, the same way they needed a Freestyle Friday one like Trunky Dineva, right? So fine, I do agree with that, but I'm going to have to counter that with he wasn't professional when he went over to his ex-colleagues live, when he was made aware that it was live, and still continued to say he didn't give a fuck. Okay? So while Al was very buttoned up in shirt and tie and put together on TGIF, he did go over to another live platform and show his ass. But okay, I hear you, brother.
You know, I guess Armand don't believe it. I don't know Armand, and I'm not familiar with this brand. So the Lunel thing, right?
Okay. So he said, I don't know Armand and I'm not familiar with his brand. Let me just give some backstory to what I think that comment meant and Armand's brand, right? Number one on the list, and I'm going to reiterate this until I'm blue in the face. What Armand did was roast Al. Let me be clear. What Armand did was roast Al. If you go back and you look at what roast looked like, what roast basically looked like is you coming out saying some of the nastiest things about a person that has a slight bit of truth to it to embarrass the person. And you're doing it in a jokingly manner to make it seem as though this is all for shits and giggles, when really and truly is meant to hurt, embarrass, and disrespect the person. That is how I view roast. Every roast I've ever seen has been of that, right? Now, in all fairness, there is some people that's like, listen, we can roast, but we really roast on the surface stuff, which is pretty much what Claudia and Al did when they roasted Armand. They roasted stuff on the surface, right? You know, they made a little joke there about him being loud and rambunctious and not knowing all the political issues that's at hand in the world today, but they didn't really go deep. You have the right to do that when you roast, but you don't have a right to do is tell other folks how to roast. Now, the thing that Sean just said that, he said that he doesn't know Armand's brand. Oh, well, honey, everything that Armand did in that roast is everything that Armand does. That's his brand, right? And in all fairness, I'm actually proud of Armand. Because what Armand did was he waited for an opportunity to, as he would call it, whack Al, but he did it in a jokingly manner. Normally when he whacked people, it's not a joke. You guys go back and watch the legendary Jason Lee fucking takedown that Armand did. I must have watched that video at least 30 times because he sat there and detailed everything that was done to him. He showed proof of everything that was done to him. And every time he showed when he got whacked, he whacked back. And I mean, he was diabolical in that. So much so that it caused Jason Lee to retreat into a shell and say things like, oh, I'm not going back and forth. He's beneath me. Any other time, Jason Lee ain't got no issue with arguing. He just ain't want no smoke with Armand because, again, this is what Armand does. And I personally, I'm not going to lie, a couple of months ago when I saw Al shifting with Armand, he kept calling him boy, which, let me sidebar and say this, right? Al used to call Funky boy too. So I don't necessarily agree with the whole he was doing it to try to disrespect him. But a part of me does feel that way because when Al would say boy and little things to Funky will dive on you. Funky don't play. Funky do not play, right? He got his PhD in reading somebody, okay? On top of that, his reads are very good because he's very intelligent and intellectual, right? So what I noticed is Al has started refraining from doing that shit to Funky, and he would say things like, he would say something that might be a little bit offensive and be like, but no, wait, I'm not trying to argue, just enlighten me, Funky, because he know Funky don't fucking play. What it was with Armand was, I think he felt as though Armand is ignorant, right? Because some of the things that Armand says and immature on the show, especially about important topics such as Trump and him being a Trump supporter and all that nonsense. So I think when he was calling him the boy, whereas with Funky, he kind of refrained from doing it because he know Funky would get on his ass and Funky is smart enough to do so. Armand isn't. So he continued to call him the boy because that's truly how I view you, because some of your viewpoints on these topics are fucking immature and stupid. At least that's what I feel Al felt. Anyway, speaking back to what Sean said, Sean, I know you're unfamiliar with Armand's brand, so everybody who is unfamiliar with Armand's brand may view this a particular type of way, but in my opinion, if I'm trusting Armand to be Armand, he handled this very well, because number one on the list, he's used to whacking a motherfucker as soon as they whack him, and he's used to whacking them more angry and more mean. This time he did it very jokingly, because like he said in his roast, I want to keep my job. Anywho, let's continue listening.
I don't know if you guys remember this. Obviously, you guys watch the show. So, and it's on like YouTube somewhere, but Star Jones sent Fox Soul a cease and desist.
I heard this today.
She can't talk. They can't talk about her on the show. Right? She sent them a cease and desist like a
I don't know why this keeps going low, so I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I'll just share what he said. He said that he don't know if everybody else knows it, but a little while back, Star Jones has sent a cease and desist to Fox Soul because she doesn't want to be discussed on the show. let me say this, right? And I mean, I don't know the whole minutia of cease and desist, so I honestly can't speak from that perspective per se. But I will say this. TGIF is a show where they're giving commentary on what's popular in the headlines and in the news and on social media, right? But in order for the show to be relatable, they have to sometimes share their own personal situations, because if you're just getting up there to gossip about other people and judge them, nobody don't want to fucking hear that. You see, like with Wendy would say little slick shit, and then she'll say something like, yeah, like say if she talks about Beyonce and Jay-Z's marriage, right? Let's just say she says, yeah, no, Jay is over there spending all that money on Beyonce. Same way how Kevin has Sharina living in my house. You know what I'm saying? Like, Wendy would make it relatable to her. That's what make people like you. If you guys notice in many of my videos, from Dear DJs to Damn DJs to My Unpopular Opinion, I always make sure to sidebar and give you guys a story, because it's one thing for you to be giving your opinion on the topic and then showing how relatable you can be to people having real life issues. And it's another thing for you to sit up in your high motherfucking horse and judge people. So a lot of times on TGIF, yes, Claudia, Funky, and Al have to talk about what's taking place in the headlines and give their opinion. But we also need to know what skeletons y'all got in y'all motherfucking closet, which made Funky so relatable that they used to give him his own segment, because in those segments he would talk about his fuck-ups and things that he could be judged about. So to say that Al's Al's divorce shouldn't come up, I don't think makes sense for Al to even be on the show. Now, granted, they don't have to say Star Jones' name and all of that. That's fine. But that's the only ex-wife he's ever had, number one. And number two, it was a ton of fucking scandals surrounding that marriage. The number one thing is him being a bisexual man. Well, at that time, they would just call him straight up gay. He says he identifies as bisexual. But there was a ton of scandal from her being a bridezilla. There was a ton of scandal concerning that situation. So I think that she would have to come up. Now, granted, if she doesn't want her name said and they can say her ex and all of that, fine. But I want to know, like, I mean, that's more I would have to get information on. But anywho, I think it made sense to talk about Al's divorce, because he's on the show and he's judging other motherfuckers, so he can be judged as well. And they did think he duped the fucking lady. And I'm sorry, that was the rumor, allegedly.
A year or two ago. Okay. Cool, right? So I think what happened is Claudia got Lunel on the show on Tuesday. Because here's the thing, if you watch the show too, Claudia is be in the comments. Claudia is the moderator in the comment section, right? So Claudia got to show up on one screen, or she probably got a split screen with Foxhole, and the other screen is the comment section and her iMessage. So when Lunel was speaking, Claudia was typing, sending messages to Lunel, and she told Lunel to ask that question about Star Jones.
Ready to pop?
Wait a minute. So, Sean, you just lost me just now. So, if Claudia is a moderator and she is there in the comment section, and she told Claudia, she allegedly, according to you, told Lunel to ask that question. If she told her, did she tell her in the comment section? And if so, why didn't anybody else see that? So, Sean, did you mean to say that she maybe text her on the side because she is her friend and said, hey, you need to bring up Boom Bop Bop, or maybe they planned that beforehand? You know what I'm saying? Did you mean to say that? Because if you're saying she's a moderator and she be down in the comments and she typed in the comments for Luna, let me know if that's what you meant, Sean, because I don't know, you my cousin and all that, but I think that we would have definitely, as many people who has been reporting on this story, somebody would have pulled up in the comments when Claudia told Lunel to ask that question, right? Either way, I don't necessarily think, this is what I think Claudia does, right? And the reason why I know it all too well, because I used to do it. It's called throwing the rock and hiding the hand, right? I think she did it with Lunel, and I think she did it with Armand. She plays the game of semantics, right? I did not necessarily come out and tell Lunel, oh, you should ask Al this or say this about Al. No, I did not necessarily come out and tell Armand, you should roast Al in this way. But what I did was I had a lot of conversations surrounding our situation, what we're going through, some of his antics, what he's lied about, what he's done to me, the type of man I think he is, which fueled everything that Armand said and the question that Luenell asked. And Claudia's defense, which is an excellent defense, is that I didn't tell them to do this. No, you didn't per se, but you did fuel the energy behind what made them want to do it. I'm sorry, Claudia, I could be wrong. This is just my opinion, the same way you give yours, and I like you. So this is not a dislike thing. Please don't change it into that. It's just that I personally feel that you are that malicious. And I don't think that you started out that way. I think that that's why you didn't last on Real Housewives of Atlanta, because you were not a malicious person initially. I think now that you got fully engrossed in the game and you're making the money and you want to have staying power and you want to stick around, that you have gotten very malicious. And what I think you did was, I think you and Luenell sit around and talk the same way. I don't know why you would do this, but you sat up there, did all this talking to Tasha K, according to Tasha K, about all of these things, including calling these men the F word and so on and so forth. I think you was talking to Luenell. I think, well, you admitted to say you was talking to Armand, and that in those conversations, you didn't necessarily say, hey, you should do this. So they're right. No, you are 100% right in saying, no, you didn't tell them to do it, but you did fuel the fire that steamed the engine that could make them want to do it. Okay, so let's continue. I think he had a commercial.
The question from BetterHelp. Plans from Noom.
Is it
Her
over?
has you covered.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay, here we go.
I agree with you, Platinum Barbie. Claudia definitely put that bug out for Luenell, told Luenell to ask Al, since we can't ask that question because of the cease and desist. Luenell's not an employee of Foxhole. We're going to have her ask the question. And Luenell asked that question. You hear Claudia saying in the background, co-signing Luenell. You see what I'm saying? So that was on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, Claudia told Al she put him on. She gave him a job.
Yes.
She told him this on air, right?
Yes. Now, Sean is not lying about that, which is why I was, again, in the TGIF comments, and I said this, right? So a lot of people in the comments, because I know a lot of people, when they like somebody, they don't know how to be unbiased. Me personally, whether I like you or not, I know how to be unbiased. So one of the things that I've seen a lot of women doing is in the comments saying they're blaming the only woman on the platform. It's always the women. Women do everything. Right? So I saw a lot of women making those comments in the comment section on TGIF when the roast situation, I don't know when it was. They just put it in the comments, right? So I went in there and I said, well, listen, I know no other woman wants to say it, so I will. How could you not blame Claudia? And the reason why I said that was because exactly what he just said. Claudia, not only in the episode the next day after Luenell pulled the stunt, but every episode, she was, let me not say every, at least 2 episodes a month, she was reminding Al and Funky how she put the show together and she brought them on board, and granted, it's nothing wrong with being proud of your accomplishments, but who the fuck wants to keep hearing, oh, I gave you this opportunity? No, you didn't. You introduced it to me. God gave it to me. You know what I'm saying? So that is annoying. You want to be grateful and thankful to people for giving you favor and doing something nice for you. But at the same token, I can't continue being grateful because you keep throwing it in my face as if I'm supposed to kiss your ass or something because you did it for me. So I think that them blaming Claudia made all the sense in the world for people to blame Claudia, because every chance you get, you're reminding Funky and Al at this time only, how you gave him the opportunity. And that's exactly what you did. The very next day after Luenell was there, Al and Funky, I keep saying Funky. Al and Claudia once again for the millionth time started getting into it on air, right? And now they throw subliminals at each other. So one of the subliminals was something like talking about friendships, and Al brought up, oh, well, you can't be my friend if you try to take money out my pocket and you do 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, some of the things he feel Claudia is doing. Claudia said the same thing. Oh, you can't be my friend if you do that, do this, and screw my man. And Claudia, they said you screw everybody, man, allegedly. But anywho, that's what the rumor is. Anywho, they both was throwing little daggers at each other, and then Claudia tried to whack you by saying, because I provide opportunities for all my friends, right? Al, I even provided one for you. Claudia, we know that. We know that. When the show first started, y'all told the story. Y'all was at Cynthia's wedding. We got it. You don't need to keep reminding these grown men. Okay, so let's just say you did get me the job. I'm the person who had me keep the job. So leave it alone. So yes, she did do that, and she does that often. And to me, it's not fair.
She told him this on air. Then on yesterday, last night, Armand drops that bomb. You know what I mean? So, and then look at the fucking. You guys keep saying Al cut people off. Nell was cutting people off, and she wasn't getting the smoke that Al was getting. Mm-hmm. And Al's been cutting people off since the beginning. When Gary the T was on the show, Al was cutting people off. When Funky was on the show, Al was cutting people off.
I agree.
People. So him cutting people off and speaking over people, it's not
unique nothing
to
new.
Armand joining the show or Armand being on the show.
I agree.
So let's not get married to that. You could go back and look at episodes from years ago. Al has a habit. I don't know if that's a character thing for the show. Because a lot of people, if you guys don't know, in television, character development, right? Al's the facts guy. Al's the posh guy. Al could be the rude guy. That could be a part of the character, right? I don't know, but Al has been cutting people off since the beginning of time on the show. Mm-hmm. So that's not sensitive to Armand, and that's not sensitive to Armand being on the show.
Mm-hmm. I think it's over. I think that's all he recorded.
Again, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but Armand shouldn't have brought internal back of the house issues to a public setting, a public platform. He shouldn't have done that. We're talking about it now on here, right? We're talking about it now on here because people are putting together that there are internal and back of the house issues. Armand confirms it on air. Here's another thing.
Okay. All right, Cousin Sean. I heard enough from you, but this is what I will say. Number one on the list, Cousin Sean, you are absolutely right. Al has been cutting people off since Gary with the T was there, but I think what you're forgetting, because again, you're playing the game of semantics. Love you, Cousin Sean, but no. What you're forgetting in those moments is that it's done respectfully, though, right? Because, again, you do witness Al cut people off. But then, let me tell you what it looks like with Armand let me tell you what it looks like with Armand and Claudia versus what it looks like with Funky, right? So with Armand and Claudia, it looks like, well, I feel, and then you start over talking the person, right? That's not fair because they're still speaking. The one thing that I can give Armand is that as soon as you start that, he goes into, okay, go ahead. Whereas Claudia is like, no, I'm speaking as well. I actually was speaking first. Where I've seen Claudia and Al do this when it comes to Funky, hey, let me just jump in here real quick. You see how different that is? You see how different that is, Sean? Do you see how different that is? Right? So it's one thing for me to be speaking and for you to just start speaking over me as if I'm not even talking. And it's another thing for you to ask permission to jump in while I'm talking to make your point. Because then I have the opportunity to shut up and allow you to do so, or let you know you need to wait and I need to continue. But in those moments when he's straight up over talking Armand and Claudia, it doesn't look like you're asking for permission. It looks like you're basically telling me shut up because what I'm saying is not important and what you're saying is more important. So now you're talking over me. Whereas with Funky, it was more respectful. You know what I'm saying? So I don't agree with that part. The other part of it is the whole where Armand bringing stuff that was in the back of the house to the front of the house. We would have never believed one word Armand said if Al would not have called Funky as irate as he did. Let me be clear with that because I don't think that anybody other than us Armand fans would have really taken Armand's word for everything that he said it was, other than if Al had not pretty much confirmed that it was true by being so upset about it openly and publicly. Because another thing is, it would have been fine if they would have went to commercial and Al would have been tearing Claudia and Armand a new asshole, because that's what they used to do when Funky was there. Then they come back from commercial and be like, woo child, y'all got to see the behind the scenes. That would have been fine. What made it worse, I'm sorry to say, was Al. was Al. And granted, Armand did say some very harsh things, some things that, you know, shouldn't have been. We get all of that. But that could have been brushed under the rug because nobody would have believed it's true. You're new here. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're coming here starting trouble because of, that's another thing. That's a part of Armand's brand is for folks to think, like he said, he's not likable. He's a troublemaker. So they wouldn't have really latched on to what he said as truth and law had Al not called Funky. And when Funky told him, wait, hold on, pause, he said he didn't give a fuck. He needed to go to TGIF. Yeah, right there, that confirmed what Armand said was true, and it pissed your ass off. So now we want to hear more. So no, I don't agree. But I'm not going to keep y'all too long. I just wanted y'all to hear this new developments and what else I thought. I got one more thing for y'all to hear for what Funky said last night about him getting in it or not getting in what they have going on at TGIF. Blah, Funky, but okay.
We got a lot that we need to cover today anyway. All right, so on to what it is everybody want to talk about. Everybody want to talk about what's going over there. I just slowed the chat down. Baby, the people want to talk about what's going on down there to the TGIF, baby. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all must be a special type of fool if y'all think I'm getting involved in that. All right? I'm finna flat out tell y'all, all of y'all that came here tonight to get the exclusive tea and get the rundown, you might as well log out right now because you're going to be highly disappointed. I don't have nothing to do with any of that. My contract and my tenure at them people's job ended on December 22nd, and I have not turned back since, okay? As it relates to it, do I have opinions? Do I have thoughts? Have I talked to people? Absolutely. But I have no interest in getting on the internet and becoming a part of that. There's already, without the truth even being out there, there are already 900 YouTube videos that have been played with my picture on it and people going in and out, making up all type. Baby, that stuff don't have nothing to do with me. That stuff don't have nothing. I don't work there no more. I don't work there no more. I'm friends with Al. I don't have an issue with Claudia, but we are not in relationship. And Armand, I am friendly with. I am friendly with Armand. I am friends with Al, and I have no relationship with Claudia, but I don't have a problem with her. Outside of that, y'all, I ain't got nothing left. I have nothing to offer publicly when it comes to that, y'all. That whole situation over there, that's their stuff. That's between the people that work over there in Fox Soul. What I will say is this. I obviously, y'all saw the little snippet that I posted on my IG where I needed to correct some things that Tasha K was out there saying. The only thing, and listen, are you content creators out there and you up and coming content creators? I recognize that, we are the information, or we are the tea, or we are the story this week, or mostly them. I'm on the periphery. And that's fine and well. It comes with the territory. All I ask, just as a professional courtesy, or just as a human being courtesy, is don't put 20 on 10.
True.
Don't be out there lying.
Mm-hmm.
Just outright lying. Like on Tasha K's video, I had to correct some of the things she was saying. Claudia makes about 300 and I'm telling all they business. And Funky didn't even make 250 and Al made about 150. It goes based off of popular. Girl, you just set your ass right there and pour all that damn information straight out your ass. Okay? There is enough tea. If you just use the details and the facts that are available to y'all and the context clues, there is enough tea present that y'all don't have to be making up lies. Oh, he says he walked away, but he was really fired. I mean, where's y'all getting this information from? And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. That's one thing in the 13-year career that I have, that y'all can never say that I've done. I have never, and this is not even about Tasha K. This is about content creators, period.
Mm-hmm.
I have never sat on this camera and just straight up pulled stuff out of my butt and said it because I want to be viewed as the person that got all the inside information.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Funky.
There is enough of the real drama out there present if you know where to look.
Mm-hmm.
There's enough of it present that you do not have to sit up and conjure up stuff. You don't have to speculate. And believe it or not, you know, those of y'all who know me or within arm's reach of me, I am nice enough that all you got to do is text or call me where you want me to fill in the gaps for you, and I will fill in the gaps for you. I'll even say Funky Dineva. I'll even give you permission to say Funky Dineva told me I can say this.
Okay. All right. So you guys heard the long and the short of it about what Funky thinks, which is absolutely nothing because he's staying out of it. I mean, I guess that makes sense. In order to maintain a foxhole relationship, you don't want to continue to stir the pot. I could respect that. I could respect that. I could 100% respect that. If I was interviewing Funky, I would definitely want to know what was the straw on the camel's back that helped to diminish his relationship with Claudia. Because as you guys heard him say, no, I have nothing against Claudia, but we are no longer friends. Right? And I remember at one point, especially when he was on TGIF, that they had a really good friendship. They was gelling, they were meshing, and I honestly enjoyed those three together a whole lot. Right? So I do miss Funky on the show. Not to say I don't think Armand belongs there, but I do miss Funky on the show a lot, right? But in any event, I would love to have the opportunity to interview Funky and, you know, get in depth about his YouTube career, what he has planned moving forward, and also some of the relationships that he's built on being on YouTube, and some of them that he's lost. But in any event, that time is coming really soon because as I told you guys, I have a very prominent YouTube career. I can feel it in my toes, okay? And in my heart. Once again, thank you for my new subscribers. Thank you. I know you don't know me personally, but please trust and believe. If you continue tuning in, you will see how entertaining I can be, how serious I can be, how emotional I can be, and how much healing that I've done. All in all, I really appreciate you guys. Please hit the notification bell. Please hit the like button. And also make sure you drop down in your comments and share with me some feedback you may have on this topic. It's been ongoing for the last week and a half. And when I say this, it is the situation that keeps on giving. Thanks for the content, TGIF. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your day. This thing always got to embarrass me. I was trying to be cute.